I've been ROM hacking Super Mario World for over a decade, learning the ins and outs of how the game operates. I've also played a lot of ROM hacks and fought a lot of custom bosses. With my knowledge and skill, surely mastering the original game would be a piece of cake, right? Hello, my evil ones! I'm EvilGuy0613, and welcome to Mastering Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. In case you aren't familiar with what retro achievements are, think earning achievements for Xbox or Steam, or trophies for PlayStation, except it's for retro games. Super Mario World is a 2D platformer where you'll be going through various levels on a giant non-linear overworld, and collecting various things like coins, Yoshi coins, power-ups, etc, etc. I'm going to assume that a good majority of you have played a Mario game, or at least heard of them, so you can expect the usual platforming goodness that comes with these games, as well as some new additions. I'm not going to go over every single one of them right now, but I'll cover the more notable one. This game introduces secret exits. This is mostly signified by a level having a red dot on the overworld, but some ghost houses also have secret exits. Majority of the time, these exits are attained by finding a key and bringing it to a keyhole, but very few times you'll have to find a second goalpost. Getting these exits will unlock an alternate path on the overworld that can either serve as a shortcut, or lead to optional levels, or even worlds in some cases. There's a new power-up that is exclusive to Super Mario World, the Feather, which gives you a cape. On the ground, you can spin to win and take out mostly every enemy on your path. You can descend slowly while in the air. By running, you can soar to the sky, flying over levels, and skipping over some of them completely. Lastly, if you hold down while in flight mode, you can slam on the ground and kill the enemies within distance. Yeah, it's a pretty busted power-up, and I can see why it hasn't returned in the future games. The last thing I'll note is the inclusion of our favorite green friend. No, not him. I mean, our dinosaur-looking friend, Yoshi. Yoshi basically serves as a vehicle, if you know what I mean. You can swallow enemies, hold objects or spit them out. You can also jump off Yoshi, giving you extra height, or saving you from falling into a pit. I wouldn't recommend the latter though. You might offend certain Yoshi lovers. By swallowing a certain color shell, Yoshi will give certain abilities. The red shell will allow Yoshi to spit out 3 fireballs. The yellow shell creates a shockwave whenever Yoshi lands on the ground, killing nearby enemies. Lastly, the blue shell will allow Yoshi to fly. Yoshi can also jump on any enemy freely without getting harmed, as well as step on harmful terrain like munchers and spikes, though the latter is really underutilized. There are also 3 different colored Yoshis, but we'll get to them a bit later. The last thing I want to mention real quickly is a mechanic called spin jumping. Some enemies, if you attempt to jump on them normally, you will get damaged, but by spin jumping, you bounce off of them. It pretty much functions as Yoshi jumping off of an enemy, or jumping off an enemy as Yoshi functions as spin jumping. Anyways, this mechanic is really useful and can be used to bypass a lot of obstacles. I don't want to overwhelm you with the amount this game has to offer, so for now, we'll leave it at that and mention things as they come up. So yeah, let's dive right into what you came here for. The achievements. Currently, Super Mario World has a whopping 89 achievements. Most of them are collectibles and level challenge achievements. Very few of them are progressive, so I had my work cut out for me. With that being said, let's dive into day 1 of mastering Super Mario World. Right off the bat, I was very overwhelmed. This was my first achievement set ever, so I didn't really know how I wanted to tackle things starting off, and was in a battle with my own indecisiveness. My main reason for tackling Super Mario World was because I was not only familiar with the game, but I found Super Mario World to be the easiest of the 2D games I played. So I figured it couldn't be that bad. The first set of achievements that caught my attention were the Mini Mario vs. the World ones, as well as collecting dragon coins in every world. The Mini Mario vs. the World achievements required you to get from one point of the game to a certain point as just Small Mario, without collecting a single power-up, using checkpoints, or Yoshis. If you collect any of these, even by accident, you have to go back to point A and reach point B again. The Mini Mario vs. the World achievements were the ones that were redone. Before, you'd have to go from Yoshi's Island to Vanilla Dome, Twin Bridges to Forest of Illusions, and Chocolate Islands to Valley of Bowser. The revision separated all of them into their own worlds, surely for the better. Anyways, we started tackling Mini Mario vs. the World 1, and collecting most of the Dragon Coins we were able to on the way. There are 5 Dragon Coins per level, and collecting them all will earn you an extra life. Progress is pretty smooth sailing so far. We grabbed an achievement for collecting 5 Dragon Coins in a level for the first time, as well as defeating the first boss of the game, Iggy Koopa.
Who?
Yes, I know. That doesn't look like Iggy. Maybe the colors weren't set in stone for the Koopalings at this point. We were getting through most of the levels pretty handedly. We defeated Morton Koopa, and grabbed the achievement for defeating him, just like we got the one for defeating Larry. At the start of World 3, we would come across our first obstacle, Vanilla Dome 1, the first level of the world. This level isn't normally difficult on its own, but as Small Mario, there are some hurdles. Without access to a cape, we'd have to carefully navigate through a series of turn blocks using shells, while being careful not to get hit ourselves. It's a bit tricky, but not the most impossible thing. The next section was even more of a problem. Normally, you'd use a star here and run through all these buzzy beetles. But obviously, that's not allowed in this case. I started losing all my lives here. But, eventually I was able to get through the level. Unfortunately, I collected a mushroom that pops out near the end of the turnbuck maze. I quickly jumped out the pit to lose a life, but what I hadn't realized at the time is that I'd have to start all the way back from World 1 because of this. We proceeded forward from here and didn't have much trouble with the rest of World 3. Limmy's Fortress was the ending point of Mini Mario vs. the World 1 achievement. We defeated Limmy and got his achievement, but not the Small Mario vs. the World. This is when reality kicked in. A bit frustrated, I decided to just go back to the first 3 worlds and collect all the Dragon Coins in some of the levels I missed, as well as snag some of the simpler achievements. Some of these would include riding on Yoshi for the first time, collecting a feather, using the Feather Slam attack to kill the 8 Koopas in Yoshi's Island 2, fighting the Secret Boo Boss in Secret Ghost House, re-entering a castle by pressing R and L at the same time, and hijacking a Lakitu Cloud by kicking a thrown object at him. Before our first session was over, we defeated Ludwig von Koopa in the very short but split path in World 4, got through the very confusing World 5, collected all the Dragon Coins, and defeated World Koopa. If you aren't familiar with how World 5 operates, well, every level has a secret exit, and it's a secret exit that you need to find to progress through the world. But you can't forget the normal exits, as there's an achievement for getting all 96 exits in the game. I definitely wanted to get this world over with before the day was over. We ended day 1 with 19 achievements, which is about 1/4 of them. The first session wasn't all too bad, but I realized this game might be a bit trickier to master than I initially thought. I also came to realize that Dragon Coins are very inconsistent. For example, most fortresses didn't have any Dragon Coins, yet for some reason, both Roy's and Larry's castles have them. Most Dragon Coins are normally spread out throughout the level, but some are either all at the beginning or near the end. And some levels just didn't have them at all. Anyways, that's the end of day 1. Not a bad introduction to retro achievements overall, but let's see what day 2 had in store for us. Starting off the session, I really just wanted to progress through the game so that I had every level unlocked as well as getting all the Dragon Coins over with, starting with World 6. This is probably the most difficult normal world in the game in my opinion, as it contains some tricky levels as well as the most difficult main castle. Chocolate Island 2 is the 3rd level within World 6 and the first one to stomp us. The gimmick with this level is that you'll end up at a different sub-level by performing certain actions. This can involve collecting a certain number of coins or entering a pipe with a certain time on the clock. The hint box makes it seem simple, but it's so much more complex than that. Anyways, finding all the dragon coins in this level was a nightmare to say the least. I attempted the level 10 times and was only able to get 3 dragon coins at most. I couldn't figure out how to get to the other sub-levels that contained the other dragon coins, and my patience was getting slightly tried, so I decided to skip it for now and just move on. Upon finishing the next level, I attained 2 more achievements. One for matching all the blocks in the bonus game, and one for looping around a circle in the overworld. At the end of the level, if you hit a gold tape, you'll earn bonus stars. Depending on how high the gold tape is when you hit it, is how many bonus stars you earn, with 50 being the highest you could earn. Once you surpass 99 stars, you get a bonus game at the end of the level. As for circling around the overworld, in Chocolate Island 3, you must find the secret exit to unlock the next level. If you get the normal exit, you'll just loop back around in a circle, and you earn the achievement. This was gotten on complete accident, by the way. Chocolate Island 4 was another level I had trouble finding all the dragon coins, so I also skipped it. You'll see why I had trouble finding it. We get through the rest of World 6, get through Wendy's Fortress, and move on to one of my favorite levels, Sunken Ghost Ship. This level is the transitional level between World 6 and the final world. It can be a bit of a tricky one, being the only level to feature booze that is not in a ghost house. Although it uses the ghost house set, so maybe by technicality, it is one. This is also another hard level to get all the dragon coins in, as they are all at the end of the level, during the falling segment. It's basically trial and error. I had to glide through the entire section to figure out where the coins were, and memorize their location. Eventually I got it down, but it took a couple tries. Not only that, there isn't any midpoint in this level, so failing meant that I had to keep replaying this. After that was finished, I went back to clean up the rest of the World 6's coins. Starting again with Chocolate Island 4. There is a bonus section within this level that once again involved falling with style. One of these paths contained the dragon coin, while the rest contained other goodies. Yet again, it was another trial and error segment. We eventually found the right path and attained the last dragon coin. All we had was Chocolate Island 2 left, and I had to look at which sub-rooms contained the dragon coins. As for figuring out how to get to set rooms, I still couldn't figure it out. I was just doing random things and hoping I would end up in the rooms I needed to be, which eventually worked. I attained the last dragon coin by taking a leap of faith since I didn't have the switch box activated, by exiting the level by pressing start then select. This could only be done if you completed the level beforehand. Thankfully, once you get the 5th dragon coin, it counts as collecting all the coins for that level, and it saves. So even if you die, you would still have collected all of them. Wait, switch blocks? What are those, you ask? Well, there are these hidden levels called switch palaces. And if you activate them, they turn blocks of their corresponding colors solid. These usually make certain levels a bit easier, as well as let you gain access to certain secret exits. Some of them even contain power-ups, namely the yellow and green ones. You don't have to have these activated to get every exit in the game, if you're crafty enough. But they are necessary to get all the achievements. So, we head back to World 2 and find the secret exit of Donut Island 2 to unlock the Green Switch Palace level. These palaces are nothing special, basically just short bonus segments that you can earn lives in. We hit the Green Switch Palace with Green Yoshi to earn an achievement. There is achievements for hitting each color Switch Palace with the same colored Yoshi. But we won't be able to do that until we gain access to the Star Road, which is the very next thing we do. You may have noticed stars on the overworld map. These warp you to a secret submap called Star World. Star World contains 5 levels that all have secret exits. Just like Forest of Illusion though, you have to collect the secret exit path in order to proceed. These levels are very short levels that mostly have special gimmicks to them, such as a full-on turn block shattering level, a level forcing you to make a coin bridge, a small level containing throw blocks and a Lockatoo, and 2 random levels. They're fairly strange. These are also the levels that contain the special colored Yoshis. These Yoshis mostly function the same, except they all come with their own abilities that they'll always use no matter what color shell you have. I probably don't have to explain which abilities those are. Large explanation aside, we get most of the exits in Star World, and take each colored Yoshi to its matching Switch Palace. With the yellow switch being found on the left path in World 1, the red switch found by getting the secret exit of Vanilla Dome 2, and the blue switch found by finding the secret exit of Forest of Illusion 2. With that, we got all the Switch Palace achievements and go back to World 2 to attain all the Dragon Coins that we missed. It's worth noting that your Dragon Coin progress does not save upon resetting the game, nor does your lives, so any coin that was collected previously, you must get them all over again, and you'll start the game with 5 lives. I'm guessing saving was an issue in this era of gaming. Anyways, I could have done all of World 2's Dragon Coins on day 1, but I was having trouble finding the last level I needed them in. Turns out, by finding the normal exit of Secret Ghost House, it leads to a pipe that'll take you to an alternate path leading to the last world of the game. Apparently, this is part of World 2, so we collect all the coins in this level, and finally get the achievement for collecting all the coins in this world. With that out of the way, we finally move on to World 7, Valley of Bowser, the final world of the game. Nothing too noteworthy happened here. Despite being the final world of the game, Valley of Bowser actually isn't that difficult. The most annoying level in this world is Valley Bowser 2. Unfortunately, we'll have to play this level at least 5 more times during this set. We collect all the Dragon Coins in this world, find the exits, take on the last remaining Koopaling, Larry. It's so weird that he's the final Koopaling. And reach Bowser's Castle. In Bowser's Castle, there's a total of 8 doors with sublevels that contain their own gimmicks and enemy sets. On the first half of the level, you get to choose between rooms 1 through 4, and the second half, 5 through 8. Afterwards, there's one final segment which is the dark path containing a spotlight before you reach Bowser. You're normally required to only take on 2 of the rooms, but there's an achievement for completing every single room. We chose 2 rooms, purposely died, then took on the next 2 rooms, etc, etc. It was pretty simple. Despite this being the final castle of the game, I wouldn't even consider this the top 10 most difficult levels in this game. The last thing to do to end day 2 is take on the big bad Koopa himself, Bowser. You might have noticed I haven't talked about bosses this far. Well, that's because there's not really anything to talk about. They're fairly pathetic in terms of difficulty. Even as a kid where I absolutely sucked at games, I was able to get through all of them pretty easily. You just jump on them 3 times and avoid the fireballs, if they have any. Even Bowser is simple despite being the most involved fight in the game. After the defeat of Bowser, we beat the game and earn our final progression achievement, wrapping up day 2 with 36 achievements. We still had a while to go. On to day 3. The main plan this session was to hit up the special world and fully complete it, by getting all the exits and attaining all the Dragon Coins. Before we did that, we returned to World 4 to collect all the coins there since we haven't done that yet. World 4 is an interesting one. It is easily the shortest world within the game, and there are 2 paths you can take. The upper bridge is accessed by taking the secret exit path of Vanilla Dome 1, which leads to the first fortress level in the game. These fortresses are usually named after the world you're in. You play like Koopaling castles, with the only difference being that you fight a boss named Reznor at the end. Like most bosses, they're fairly easy. Anyways, by completing the fortress of Vanilla Dome, I got an achievement for it. I'm not sure why this specific fortress had one, but I can't complain. The fortresses are mostly optional and not on the main path, except for Chocolate Fortress. Anyways, after unlocking the bridge, we get the Dragon Coins in the 2 levels on the upper bridge, the 2 on the lower bridge, and Soda Lake accessed by finding the secret exit of the Cheese Bridge, aka the most annoying secret exit in the game. You get it by flying under the goalpost, proceeding forward to find the secret one, but I'm terrible at doing that, so instead I grabbed Yoshi, jumped across all the chainsaws, and sacrificed him into oblivion. Sorry, Yoshi lovers.
Bye, Felicia!
This is also where you find the hidden moon of this world. With World 4 down, it's finally time to take on the Special World levels. You get access to the Special World by finding the secret exit of Star World 5. Upon arriving, we got an achievement. This world is 8 levels long and contains some of the most difficult levels in the game. The first level gnarly isn't too bad. Tubular, on the other hand, the level that comes right after, is where this world starts to show its true cards. Tubular is often regarded as the most difficult level in the game, for good reason. It features the P-Balloon power-up, which is first seen in Forest Level 1. Balloon Mario moves very slow, and you must navigate through a gauntlet of tough enemies. One hit, and it's into the pit. Fortunately, it's not the longest level in existence, just long enough to make an impact. I played this level so many times that it's no longer that bad for me, and collecting the Dragon Coins are simple. However, this level has a challenge achievement. You must get through it without using any P-Balloon or Blue Yoshi. This is by far one of the most difficult achievements in the set. You have to be really calculated with your cape descent, and use enemies to get across. The second part is where I had the most trouble. There are 2 punting tracks on question mark blocks. The first one is easy enough to deal with, but the second one is close to an invisible screen boundary. So, even if you manage to kill him and get on his block, you can't jump over the lotuses on the next block. I ended up damage boosting, get my other cape, damage boosting on the second lotus, and spent jumping off of him to get to the goal, to get the achievement. Sounds like a very janky way to get the achievement, correct? Well, that's because it is. You see, I didn't read the fine print apparently. The achievement said Blue Yoshi wasn't allowed, but it didn't say Yoshi in general. So, you can take Yoshi into the level and make the second half a lot easier by gliding all the way across and jumping off of him. I wish I realized this sooner, as it probably would have saved a good hour of attempting this. After that, we move on to the next level, Way Cool, which isn't cool at all. It's a trial and error level, where you'll be riding a platform and hitting on and off switches to determine the path, which some of them randomly lead to your death. I absolutely despise this level. At least Valley of Bowser 2 is just boring, but this is just random BS. What's worse is that I had to figure out the correct path to find all the Dragon Coins. Or at least I thought. In a select few of these levels, there are question mark blocks that contain a pair of wings. If you interact with these while riding Yoshi, you'll fly up off the screen and be teleported to a bonus level. These levels have 5 Dragon Coins by default, and they count as collecting the Dragon Coins for that level, so you better believe that's what we did. This is also the earliest way to get Blue Yoshi, aside from accessing the Star Road. Most of the levels afterwards are pretty smooth sailing. Then there's Outrageous, the penultimate level before the final Special World level. This level is out to get you, plain and simple. There are loads of bullet bills, hopping flames, wigglers, and hammer rolls all in one. I died quite a few times here, but the Dragon Coins weren't that bad to collect at least. We take on the final Special World level, and warp back to the beginning of the game, where everything looks different. We get the achievement for making the world a better place. But not for the Dragon Coins. I forgot Star World 1 counted as getting all the Dragon Coins for the Special World, so we do that, and it's another guess where all the coins are type deal. Fortunately, it's a short and non-threatening level, so after a bit of guessing, we officially finished getting all the Dragon Coins in the Special World, as well as the entire game. With the exception of a couple annoying levels, it wasn't actually all too bad. We were halfway done with day 3, so we decided to get an achievement which involved taking on Bowser with a Fire Flower. Having a power-up for this fight really doesn't change anything, but it's what the achievement gods asked of us. We kill Bowser quickly and get the achievement. Except we don't. For some reason, if you access Bowser via back door, it doesn't count. I'm not sure why this is, as there isn't any difference between taking on Bowser in the front door and the back door path. I imagine it has to do with how the game's coding works or something. Either case, we go to the front door entrance and take on Bowser again, and get the achievement for real this time. For the rest of the session, we do another level challenge achievement, and grab some collectible achievements. In Forest Fortress, near the end of the level, there's an alternate path above the boss door, in which you need a cape. I simply flew across the pit of the fire guys and earned the achievement. By the way, there's these green star blocks that give you a 1-up if you collect the 30 coins in the level. We get the green star block in Yoshi's Island 4 fairly easy. Next, we get the one on Butterbridge 1, which is near the end of the level. This one is the hardest to get in my opinion, as you have to actually go out of your way to get the 30 coins, while surviving the tricky auto-scroll. It doesn't take us too long though. The last green star block we needed was Chocolate Island 3, also near the end of the level. Basically, take the bonus room here, and collect all the coins there. We then attempt to start finding some of the moons. Yoshi's Island moon was on Yoshi's Island 1, to where we just flew over the level to find it. Vanilla Domes is a little harder to find. At first I thought it might have been in the ghost house, but I had no luck there. I briefly searched some of the other levels, but the only one that made sense to me was Vanilla Dome 3. I just had to find a place where I could fly. Once I did, I ended up finding it, putting an end to my overthinking. I attempted to find Chocolate Island's moon, but I had no luck. At first I thought it might have been in a bonus area in Chocolate Island 3, where we found the dragon coin, but it wasn't. Then I went to Chocolate Island 5 and flew over the level, hoping to find it. Once again, no luck. I was running out of steam and getting hungry, so I called it on day 3, ending with 50 achievements. We were officially halfway done at this point, but we still had some rather difficult achievements ahead of us. Let's see what day 4 has to offer. Day 4 wasn't off to a great start, but it was mostly my own fault. My controls were not set correctly, and I accidentally ended up deleting my entire save file. This means that all 94 exits that I had previously had were set back to 0. I basically had to replay the entire game over again. I started off the session by trying to attempt the first Mini Mario vs. the World achievement, which as a reminder, involved going from Yoshi's Island to Lemmy's Fortress. I made it all the way to Vanilla Dome 1 before... No! Okay, that is exactly what I was afraid of. Yep, I forgot about this. So once again, I had to start all the way back, wasting the first 40 minutes of the stream. At this point, I was starting to get a bit peeved with the Mini Mario achievements, and unfortunately, the problems do not stop there. I decided to go for some simple achievements for now, starting with a hidden 1-up in Yoshi's Island 4. There are a select few levels that have hidden 1-ups, triggered by hitting certain spots. These are very vague, and I didn't know where most of them were at the top of my head, but thanks to the RetroArch notification popping up whenever I hit a spot, and a picture of the achievement, I was able to figure out where most of these were. Yoshi's Island 3 was at the very beginning of the level, on the top of the mushroom, off screen. I just ran across, and it triggered. The next achievement I grabbed involved a level challenge at Eggy's Castle, which is getting 8 1-ups under 230 or more on the time clock. As you might know, jumping on enough enemies in a row will earn you a 1-up. You'll also earn a 1-up from every enemy you jump on after reaching the threshold. I was a little confused on how I'd pull this off, being that all the enemies are on climbing nets, but apparently, being on a climbing net still counts you as being in the air. Which, yeah, that makes sense now that I think about it. This also becomes our new life swarming spot from here on out. The next challenge involved getting the normal exit at Donut Ghost House without using the vine or using a feather. The normal way to get this exit is by hitting this block, climbing the vine, and getting to this door. All I have to do here is make the screen slightly raise above the screen boundary, and then spin jump on the boost to get to the door. It's pretty simple. Also, I think I just learned a new speedrunning tactic. We grabbed the 1-up trigger in Donut Plains, Donut Plains 4, Morton's Castle, and Vanilla Ghost House. Or at least we tried to find it. And then we attempted the first Mini Mario challenge again. This time we one-shotted Vanilla Dome 1, got through the rest of the levels pretty handily, and defeated Lemmy to finally earn the achievement. Honestly, Vanilla Dome 1 was the main offender here, otherwise the rest of the levels weren't too bad without power-ups. I grabbed Vanilla Dome 4's hidden 1-up, and then we started attempting Mini Mario vs. the World 2, which involved going from Cheese Bridge to Morton's Castle. Which, oh boy, this is where I started to lose my patience a bit. The Soda levels weren't actually too bad to complete, though Forest of Illusions midpoint can screw off. The main problem is that I wasn't getting the check for completing these levels, and I had absolutely no idea why that was. Not only that, but Forest of Illusion 5 actually requires you to be big to get the secret exit, which you need the secret exit to proceed to Morton's Castle. Which meant that this Mini Mario challenge would come to a halt. I think I remember reading somewhere that you were allowed to get the power-up in this level, but I'm not 100% sure. Either case, with my progress not being counted in general, we're kinda ending day 4 on a sour note. At least I got Forest Illusion 4 level challenge, which involved getting to the midpoint without collecting the Log 2's 1-up. It wasn't too bad. We're ending day 4 with 60 achievements attained. Not the biggest increase, but will we get more progress in day 5? Let's find out. I'm EvilGuy0613, and if you've been around me for a while, you'll learn that I am a very stubborn person. Even if something is frustrating me, I don't quit. We immediately start day 5 off by attempting the Mini Mario vs. the World 2 challenge. And I was running into the same issues again, with levels not being counted as completed. At this point, I started searching around to see if anyone else was having this issue. And that's when I figured that levels had to be completed in a certain order for them to count as completed. I don't really know how setting up achievements work, so I imagined this was the only way to set up checks for this. But in hindsight, and the Forest of Illusion being as confusing as it is, I think there could have been some kind of guide or list on the exact order you need to complete these levels in, and which exits you need to collect between main exits or secret exits. Especially considering most of the Mini Mario challenges require you just to complete the main path. I basically had to go backtrack and replay levels again, hoping that they would finally count. I'm glad the revision fixed this issue at least. Anyways, an hour later and we finally completed Mini Mario vs. the World 2. Good riddance. We also grabbed the hidden 1-up and Forest of Illusion 3 on accident. Our Mini Mario vs. the World adventures weren't over yet, as we jumped right into Mini Mario vs. the World 3. We had some semi-difficult levels ahead of us, so I was a bit concerned about how this would go. Starting off, it wasn't too brutal, though Wendy's Fortress was giving us some trouble. While we were here, we did grab the hidden 1-up in this stage, which is by far the easiest one to find. We eventually got through Wendy's Fortress and Sunken Chip, where we were forced to collect the star here. Fortunately, it doesn't count against us. I was still trying to figure out which levels we actually needed to complete for this, because I went on a secret exit route from Chocolate Island 2 and played through Chocolate Island Secret, which counted as one of the levels required for this challenge. We proceeded through the main path of World Bowser for now, and get to Valley of Bowser 4, where we accidentally hit the midpoint because it's right in the way of where we needed to jump. I had some choice words for these Mini Mario challenges, but I reserved them and just started back at point A. That's when I learned something really interesting. The midpoint in Valley of Bowser was still collected since I didn't complete the level. I didn't expect this, but it did not count against us. I think this has since been accounted for, by the way. Anyways, Larry Castle is giving us a really hard time. This is probably the hardest castle in the game, even being harder than Bowser's Castle. Maybe Larry should have been the final boss. We get to Bowser's Castle and realize that I was still missing 2 exits. But instead of going back, I made a grave mistake. I took on Bowser's Castle, completely forgetting that you cannot go back once you complete the level. This means that I beat the game, got the ending credits, and had to reset the game. Meaning, I had to start back from point A of the Mini Mario vs. the World 3 again. Yeah, not my brightest moment ever. So, we started again for the third time in a row. This time I had the routing figured out though. You had to play up to Chocolate Island 2 and take the secret exit route from there to Wendy's Castle and proceed forward. In Valley of Bowser, you had to complete every level, which meant finding both exits from Valley Bowser 2 and completing the infamous Valley Fortress. Yes, it's my dream to play Bowser's Valley 2 twice in a row. With that, we took on Bowser's front door again, and finally got Mini Mario vs. the World 3. Thank the Mushroom Kingdom. The only other achievement I got was making Mario dance during the ending credits, which I had absolutely no idea this existed. Apparently, it's done by making Mario hold up after Peach kisses him. Shout out to chat for letting me know about this. It's pretty funny actually. This goes to show that I really don't know as much about this game as I thought I would have. We're ending day 5 with only getting 4 achievements, making 64. Not a lot of progress today, but we got 2 of the biggest hurdles out of the way thankfully. Day 6 should be interesting. With no time to waste, we immediately life farmed and head to Star Road. I had forgotten I had to find all the exits again due to my Valley racing a while back, but that didn't take too long. Once I unlocked the special world, it was time for the final Mini Mario vs. the World challenge. I wasn't too worried here because the path was straightforward. This was going mostly well until I got to Awesome. Tubular and Outrageous are known for being the most difficult levels in this world in general, but Awesome is by far the worst level as Small Mario due to the horrendous fish generator. Since you don't have the star to fall back on midway through the level, you have to play the second half very patiently. I went into this level with 25 lives, came out with 12 lives remaining. Yeah, it was brutal, but at least we were halfway done with this challenge. For some reason, we lost a lot of lives on Mondo as well. This level isn't actually hard. It was just this Hammer Brother at the end that kept getting us. Before even attempting Outrageous, we went back to get more lives. But as it turns out, I didn't really need them, as we got through the remaining 2 levels pretty easily, and attained the final Mini Mario vs. the World achievement. Ironically, the one with the hardest set of levels gave us way less of a hassle than the other Mini Mario challenges. Either case, I was glad to be done with these, as that meant I could be Big Mario for the rest of the game. We weren't out of the woods yet with difficult achievements, however. For now, we went to find every exit in the game, since that would take the longest, and got the achievement for finding all 96 exits. After that, we had to make Yoshi lay a cloud egg. I knew of this mechanic, but I didn't know exactly how to get the cloud to spawn. I only knew that it had to do with the berries you see in the bushes, namely the pink ones, which can be seen in a select few levels. That's right, the berries do stuff. The game doesn't really explain this, however. Eating enough red berries will make Yoshi lay an egg and drop a power-up. Pinks lay a cloud that drops coins, and green ones increase your time limit. To be very honest with you, I find the berries to be pretty insignificant. I mainly remembered Groovy having the pink berries, so we went to that level and collected 10 coins to get the achievement. While we were still in the special world, there were a couple level challenges that we needed to do, starting with Groovy. We needed to complete the level starting from the first question block without touching the ground and without using Yoshi. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, there's some jank to it. If you think you can just simply fly over the entire level like with every other one, think again. There's an invisible solid barrier that prevents you from flying too high. This means you're susceptible to getting hit by enemies in your path. I resulted in killing every enemy in the level before going back and attempting to fly over the level. Then this happened. Now this is the run.
Nope.
Excuse me? What the heck? Upon further observation, I think I came to the conclusion that this baseball thrown from this chuck took its sweet time traveling all the way across and just so happened to snipe me as I was flying. Absolutely crazy work. We eventually got the achievement and moved on to the final level challenge in this world, which was in Funky. We needed to beat the level with 300 or more time on the clock. This is the only time the green berries are featured throughout the entire game. The gimmick to this level is to swallow these green berries that increase your time limit. It is, however, totally possible to complete this level without ever doing the gimmick. But for this specific achievement, they are important. You really had to have a route planned out and be as fast as possible, as even a slight delay would result in not completing the level in time. Losing Yoshi also meant that you had to start over. I felt that it was detrimental to have the cape, as being able to fly saved a lot of time and allowed me to skip over a lot of the enemies. Also, the start of the Sumo Bro segment made it to where I didn't have to slow down. You basically had to be perfect. Challenging, but not impossible. After the special world, we took on the remaining 2 challenge achievements I had left. The first one involved bringing Baby Yoshi to the end goal in Star World 4. Unlike Green Yoshi, who always starts fully grown, Pleasure Colored Yoshis, you needed to feed them enemies to fully grow up. It was easy. The last level challenge, however, was a different story. You need to complete Force of Illusion 2 without touching a single wall, enemy, or a blue block. This level is as claustrophobic as they come, with 2 tile-wide lanes everywhere while needing to wait out urchins. I needed to be precise and patient with this one, as much as I want to rush through. You can bring power-outs, but that would just add a bigger hitbox. If anything, the last part of the level would probably be easier with them, if you can make it that far. It took quite a while, but with careful playing, we managed to get the achievement before ending off Day 6 with 73 achievements. We were at the home stretch now. We have gotten every difficult achievement in the game, and mainly had collectibles along with a couple challenge playthroughs of the game. Don't worry, these would be short. It was time for Day 7, the final day. Hi, Post-Gameable here. I forgot to mention there was one achievement that we did grab that wasn't mentioned in the video. I had already finished most of the video by this point, and it would be a pain to have to rearrange everything, so I'm just gonna splice it here. Once you get to the special world, just hang out here a bit, and you'll be hit with a blast from the past. Okay. How many loops do we have to go through this before it finally displays? Dang it. I just keep thinking, is it gonna do it yet? There we go. There we go. Hey, we did it. We did it. Pretty cool, right? Not sure how many of you knew about this, but I figured I'd point it out just in case. Okay, now let's get on with the final day. This day was all about getting the rest of the achievements at any cost. There were only 12 achievements left, and all except 2 were collectibles. We still needed to get 50 points by hitting the goal at the highest point. So, we went to the shortest level I know, Star World 3. I immediately went for the goal and got it on my first try. Well, that's one achievement out of the way. We go for the remaining hidden 1-ups afterwards, which included Vanilla Fortress, Chocolate Island 2, Valley Bowser 2, Valley Bowser 2 again, Larry's castle in Gnarly. We once again searched for the moon in Chocolate Island, and figured out that it was actually in Chocolate Island 1. So I had the right idea of flying to find it, just the wrong level. We went into Donut's secret house to kill a big boo by sliding. Then went to find the 8 bonus chambers hidden in certain levels. Basically, these are guessing games. Hit one block correctly, hit another block correctly, and hit the last block to earn a 1-up. Hit the wrong block, and you miss out on earning a 1-up for that row. I only knew where a few of these bonus chambers were off the top of my head, but the rest I had to look up. It wasn't long before I found them all, and earned the achievement. At last, it was time for the last 2 achievements of the set, which both involved playing through the game again. The first achievement was to get through the game deathless. Deathless achievements always scare me. While Super Mario World isn't the hardest game in existence, it is very easy to just make one mistake, and there goes your deathless run. So playing through all the world with one life sounded like a tall task. Fortunately, we don't have to do that. The achievement said to complete the game deathless, but we're not limited to how we achieve that. Which brings us to our next achievement: clear the fewest stages possible and beat the game. If you aren't picking up what I'm putting down, we can kill 2 birds in 1 stone. Unfortunately, on my deathless run, I took 1 exit too many and did not get the achievement for clearing the game with the fewest stages. I accidentally got the regular exit of Star World 1 first, which put me over the exit limit I needed. All I needed to do was get the secret exit of every Star World level until I ended up at the warp that brought me to Bowser's front door. I at least got deathless out the way, so I could relax a little as we attempted to complete the game with the fewest exits again. I checked my full complete save file to make sure I had the route correctly. That was when I realized something. The last time my game saved was when I got the secret exit of the secret ghost house. If you didn't know this already, the game only saves after fortresses, castles, and ghost houses. This means that I was able to save some time by loading my save file before the point of Star World 1. I started by grabbing a cape from Donut Plains, then continued forward. As long as you haven't completed a level, it won't count as an exit. In case you were curious, here's the route to getting the achievement. Go through all the Yoshi's Island levels, starting with 2, and ignore the left path. Once you get to World 2, take the secret exit of Donut Plains. It may look like you need to activate the Green Switch Palace, but you can simply just fly up to where the key and keyhole are. Take the secret exit of Donut Secret 1. Take the secret exit of Secret Ghost House to get to the Star Warp. And Star Road, find the secret exits of Star Road 1, 2, 3, and 4. Star Road is the only level that you'll need a cape for. The normal way to get it is by having all the switch palaces activated. But if you go on the upper path and glide under the mushroom, you can reach a platform that contains a keyhole easily. After that, the only thing left to do from here is defeat Bowser. We take on the castle and accidentally glide off one of the rooms. Good thing Deathless was out the way. We try again, and this time we still die. So we try it again and die again. So I tried another room and we died again. Maybe I just too eager to beat the game at this point. With 1 life left, it was really time for me to lock in. I took on a much easier room this time, got hit taking on the check room, and lost my reserve cape. Yeah, my skills were really dwindling at this point for some reason. But we make it through, defeat Bowser, and got the final achievement, Mastering Super Mario World. Oh boy. There we go, there we go. It counted, yay! Mastered Super Mario World. 22 hours. Wow. We did it. We did it 100%. We freaking did it. We freaking did it, chat. We freaking did it. Oh. Oh, my lord. That was an experience. It was finally over. Overall, it was actually a very fun set, aside from the Mini Mario vs. the World issues. If I learned anything, I don't actually know this game from the back of my head. Sure, I played it a lot, but things like hidden 1-ups, moon locations, bonus chambers, Dragon Coin locations, and the general jankiness I'm not familiar with. So yeah, I learned a lot. A great game to introduce me to the retro achievement grinds, as we'd go on to continue more games from here. But I really do adore doing this. I pretty much get to play some of my favorite games of my childhood in a whole completely new and challenging way. With one game under our belt, how do we fare against future games? Being that now I kinda know the flow of how achievements work and what to expect. Well, I guess we're gonna have to find that out in the next video. For now, I hope you enjoyed this video overall. I wasn't quite sure how I want to format this video, and this is also the biggest amount of editing I've done for any video this far, so if you're still here in the end, then thank you for watching. I'm EvilGuy0613, signing off. Happy hunting, my evil ones.